All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College. And as part of my YouTube channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, which currently has only one YouTube playlist in it, that being Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. And there's probably 60 some odd videos in there now. And I've gone through procedural programming, object-oriented programming, data structures, file systems, all right, and I'm on databases now, and I've been working on creating a CRUD application, gotten it to work, but one thing about this CRUD application, let me bring it up in here right now, is that currently it doesn't have it has no exception handling in it. All right, so I decided to try to add some. And really, I should have been using exception handling from the get-go, but I didn't. So I've added this down here now. This, as it says, right here, this is the SQLite 3 exception hierarchy. All right, and as you can see, there's a bunch of different types of database errors: an integrity error, programming error, operational error, data error, internal error, not supported error, and then there's an SQLite 3 interface error. So if we look at these, as it says, in Python's SQLite 3 module, several exceptions are defined. And basically, you don't want to let garbage into your database, whether that's when you're first putting in information, all right, or, so if you're inserting something, or if you're modifying something, all right. As it says, these exceptions allow for better error handling and debugging. So if we look at these, again, it says there that SQLite3.error is the base class. What does that mean? That means that this is the parent of all of these. This is the superclass, parent class, base class, whatever you want to call it. These are the child classes, subclasses, etc., whatever you want to call them. All right? So as it says, an SQLite3.error is the base class for all exceptions that are raised. So it is the parent of database error, which, as it says, is raised for errors related to the database itself. All right. Integrity errors, raised when you break a database constraint. All right. Programming errors, as it says, if you put some incorrect SQL syntax in there, or you have a misuse of the SQLite application program interface, which basically tells you how you're supposed to do everything. An operational error. Now, we're not typically going to have errors like this, where it says it's locked by another process, because right now I'm using my machine to hold my database. But in a real life example, if you're working for a company, it's quite probable that your database will be on a server someplace and shared by multiple people. So this would become much more important. A data error, as it says, with a problem with the data itself. So for instance, you're looking for a number and you put in something non-numeric. An internal error, as it says, it's raised when SQLite encounters some kind of internal error. Now notice it says there it indicates something went wrong inside of the SQLite engine itself. That is typically not going to be something you're going to have a heck of a lot of control over. All right? A not supported error when you try to put in some kind of an operation that's not supported. And an interface error. Now it says here that an interface error is a subclass, but I didn't think it was. See, there's the interface, and it's at the same level as the database error. So I don't think that one actually is I took this off of a site someplace. I don't remember where. But it says raised when there is an error related to the database interface. So it's a non-database error. It's an interface error. All right, then there's a warning, which isn't shown in there, but as it says, it's used to issue warnings related to the module. All right, so imagine that you were working with products, and you had a create product, which I've been doing it like this. So if you had a create product to insert a record, things that could go wrong, an integrity error or an operational error. Read products, where you basically go in and you list out your current products. Again, operational errors. Update, where you're updating a record based on an ID. And as it says, allow selective field updates. Well, that's what we just did in the last set of exercises. Errors can include integrity errors or operational errors. And there's other ones that there can be as well. Finally, a delete operation. When you try to delete, I don't know what that's supposed to be. You want to delete a record based on the ID you provide. And again, typically that would be an operational error. Now, how important is that? It's important that you understand that, like we've been working with before, all right, when we worked with and we did, for example, all right, when we worked with and we did exception handling in other programs, of course, this is important. So let's go in here. We're in our main, and let's see where we might use something like this. All right. Now, what are we trying to do right here? We're trying to what? Create a connection, right? Connect to our database. Okay, so we're returning this. What if that didn't exist? What if we don't have a database by that name, for example? All right. Well, the other thing too is we've got our choice. We can connect right here, or we could pass that in as a parameter as well. So I could put in here DB file as an example. And then we're gonna make some changes in here as well. All right. So I'm gonna say in here, attempt to create DB connection. All right. So let's create a variable called con, which we've been using. We're going to set it right now equal to none. Why? Well, let's see if it worked first of all. So we're going to put a try except in here. So I'm going to say try, and I'm going to say con equals, and I'm just going to take what I had here and I'm going to comment this out so you can see the difference. All right, I'm going to say that it equals this. So again, if I didn't pass that in, I could do it here. Or if I did pass in the database name, I could just say DB file right there. All right. Now, if it works, I can just do a print here that says something like connection established. Connection to database established. Just to let the user know. Do you have to do that? Of course not. But it's not a bad idea. And then we'll return that connection. Now, what if it didn't work? All right. So what if we passed in here the name of a file that didn't exist, for example? So I'm going to put an except in here. And let's look for an SQLite3 dot error. All right, we'll do it as E. And we're just going to print the error. We might as well put it in an F string and just do it right in here. Now, what that bought us that we did not have previously, I want to say this, what that bought us that we didn't have previously is if for some reason okay, it screws up and we don't technically have a connection. Okay. And really, I don't think I need this here. I put that here, but I don't know if I need it. I'm going to have to return something. All right. But the connection was never open, so I think I can leave that off. So notice what I've done here. I'm going to leave that line here, but I'm going to grab the SalesOrders.db, and that's at the beginning. Is that at the beginning of main? Yes, it is. There. So where we've got this, I'm now going to put in here the name of my file. All right. So now connection equals connect, and I want to connect, and I'm passing in the file name. It really doesn't matter. I could do it the way I just did it there, where I pass in a file name, or I could put the file name in here. All right. Either way, it at least should work. Okay. Now, what we did previously in a previous example, I want to say this again. What we did previously in a previous example is we went through and we created tables, etc. All right. So let's just for a second, just so you see this. All right. Just please, so you see this, I'm going to open up. Let's see. This was the previous one, I believe, that we did. These are these worksheets. Maybe it is in here, and it's the first one. Let's see what we have here. I don't want to be doing CRUD yet. So it is up higher. There we go. So if we came up into this in version 1, and I'm going to make a folder here, and I'm going to call this no exceptions, because there aren't any exceptions in here, and I'm going to grab everything that's in here, and I'm just going to copy it in. All right, and then I'm going to create another folder that's going to be called with exceptions. And now I'm going to grab everything in here again, and I'm going to copy all that in. All right, and if you say, I don't understand what you're doing, please bear with me for a second. All right, so let's open this one up in code. So this is our with exceptions. Notice we've got all these create statements in here. And then we've got the inserts. I'm gonna start with the creates. All right. So we've got this. We had our create in here. We did a try. And I guess we did put in some exception handling. I didn't think we did. All right. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's good that we put that in. Now, the problem is that's a very generic, problem trying to create database. If I actually wanted to, we could put in here many of the other things. And if you say, I don't understand, again, please watch. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do an except. And I'll have an SQLite3 dot, well, let's start with the one that would probably be most often, database error. All right. And again, as E, just like we did, and we'll put another print in here. All right, but now rather than having it say problem trying to create database table, we'll say in here database error. All right, and let's put a few more of these in here, and we'll change this one to I'm just going to say generic SQLite3 error. And now I'm going to put in this. And we'll put in, I don't know, about 3 other ones. All right, now, of course, we don't want to put them all to be database error, but we've got database error. Let's try an operational error. All right, and let's also put in, I don't know, a programming error. That's going to probably grab, if not everything, just about everything. All right, so I've been more specific now. We're attempting to come in here in this try, create a connection, set up our query, execute our query, and commit it. All right, then let the user know that it was successfully created. But now, if this fails due to either a database error or an operational error or a programming error or a generic error, we'll let them know that too. Now, probably what I should do, just to be safe here, is in all of these, let's see, we'll return, we'll return none in all of these cases. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, whoops, and I'm just going to grab this and copy it. One thing I've learned over my career as a programmer is you can't be too careful. There's a trade-off here because the more code you put in, typically the slower the application will run. But you also don't want to not put in something and then have it bite you in the behind later. All right, so this is what I'm going to put in here. Now, after this, I'm going to grab each one of these. I'm going to grab all of that, so that's a copy. Let's do a file, save all, and let's close this. Now, let's open up the next one. In the customers table, I'm again just going to replace what we had in here with all of that. All right. So file, save all. Then we'll come in with the employees table. See, I'm just being very deliberate here in what I'm doing. File, save all. Order details. Remove the generic one we put in there and add all of them, including the generic one. The orders, products, product vendors, and vendors. Now, hopefully one thing you've realized here is when you write these things, when you put this extra information in that I'm putting in right now, you do it for the programmer. So if something goes wrong while you're testing, you can let them know the type of error it is so they know what to concentrate on. All right. Now, we've also got in here, we've got the insert statements. We can do the same kind of thing with our inserts, which is the other ones that we have in here. All right. So let's close this and let's go over to the inserts. So did we put anything in here? We've got, again, just the SQLite 3 error where it says problem trying to insert database records. That's not an error. All right. And it will give you an error. But by putting in several except statements, what I'm adding to the program is I'm letting the programmer see exactly the type of error that's being returned. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to just add some of my, in fact, let's leave it. Okay, we'll just say here again, just like we did before. Move this over a little bit. All right, and I'm going to say generic database error. All right, and let's put in, I don't know, about 5 more of these. Oh, that was not good. All right. Okay, so let's hit enter there. That's why that didn't work. Let's go back here. I goofed this up royally. So, all right. So let me grab this, hit enter here, move that over. I actually wanted to put in here about 6 of these. All right. And again, just like we did before, but I'm going to start now. Here we're letting them know, okay, that these are the categories in the table. So we're letting them know that it worked, and we're printing them out here. But in the accepts, let's start with here an integrity error. Why start with an integrity error? Because that would be an example of some kind of a constraint that failed. All right, so this will say integrity error. So that would be things like if you had a problem with a unique constraint that you put in, or a primary key problem, or something else. All right, next we'll have a data error. And we'll let them know that it was a data error. All right, next we'll have a database error. All right, then we'll have an operational error. And finally, we'll put in a programming error. Now, when I wrote this program, and this is all my stuff, so again, if something doesn't work, it's all on me. All right? And then there's our other one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, just like I did before, copy it to the clipboard. Let's do a file, save all here. Let's close this, and we'll just start adding them in. So next are customer records. Followed by employee records. Followed by order detail records. Some of these are long. I think you already know this. Boom, 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 boom. Followed by the order records. Followed by the product records. followed by the product vendor records. And finally, followed by the vendor records. So again, what I want to stress to you here is, have we made our program better? I think yes, we have. All right. Now, with that said, oh, that should have just said SQLite error, so let me change these. I said generic database error. Okay. It's made the program better. It's made it longer. So again, there's at least a chance it's going to run slower now, but we're being much more descriptive, and we're letting the user know if something did indeed go wrong. We're letting them know what went wrong. And as I mentioned you previously, if you've been programming long enough, what you'll find out after a while is if something goes wrong and it's something that you were involved in directly, it's your fault. That may not be fair, but it's your fault. It doesn't matter if there was a glitch in the software or something else. It really and truly doesn't matter. I've been blamed for things in the past that I really had little to nothing to do with. People don't care. When something goes wrong, you don't blame the software. Let's see. Let's finish these last two up and then we're done. Now, I do want to show you one last thing, and then I'm going to drop this one. All right, so File, Save All. I'm going to get rid of the database that I have. All right, so I'm going to get rid of it. Delete. Yes. I'm going to go to my thing that ran this, right there, and I'm going to run it again. And I should not get any errors. There, it put all my records in, and it's showing me the stuff that I put in. But the point is, there's my database. Okay? But I've written it better, quote, better, unquote, than I did previously. All right? So what I showed you here is how you can add things when you're doing creates. All right, when you're doing inserts. All right, now what we can do, so let me do a file, save all here. It's just save, I guess. And let's close all this. I'm done with this one. All right, I'm done with this one. I want to go back to what we're working on, which is version 3, or the one that we called here, not this. In here, the one that we're calling generic update, try, no try and accept. Let's see, first try, no accept, second generic update. So we're up to this third one here. What I want to get across to you is now with this one, we've got our main in here. We've already added a little bit of exception handling. We could check for other types of exceptions in here too. We could check for a database error, etc. All right, so if I wanted to, and the only thing that you must do is when you're putting this stuff in, this is a more generic error than these are. So these have to come before this one. All right. So I think right now we've got a database error. is what we put in there, I believe. I'm not sure even. Let me go back and check. Except just an SQLite 3 error. All right, so we could go back here if we wanted to, and we could add any of these that we wanted to. All right, now I'm not going to go back right now and do all that. I could, and it would make these a lot longer, these programs, than they are currently. So I could go into each one of these things that's in here. So in other words, I can go into each one of my CRUD files that's in here. What I want to do, though, is I do want to go into the CRUD functions one that's right here. All right. So this is my update record. And the problem is right now, if you take a look at it, there is nothing in here if this fails. So let's go in here and let's add something. All right, so let's come in and we'll put a try in here. It's going to screw everything in here up. So I'm going to have to take all of it and tab it over once. Now that fixed it. All right, no errors except I don't have an except now. So let's put in some excepts. All right, and well, what could go wrong? Let's go back and take a look in here and look at what could go wrong. Well, that would be a good one to put in at the end. Yep, how about a database error? Yeah, that sounds good. How about an integrity error? Okay. How about a programming error? Yeah, I could put that in there. How about an operational error? I'm not going to worry about that one now. How about a data error? Yeah. Incorrect data type, sure. Internal, no. Not supported, I could. Interface, no. And I'm not going to put in a warning. So the ones I'm going to add here, this is under, it's my discretion what I want to add. All right. So I'm going to put in here the SQLite, let me move this, get this bigger, SQLite 3 dot error. All right, but I want to put in some of these other ones. So the SQLite 3 dot database error, the integrity error, let's just copy these. The integrity error, the programming error, again, I'm not going to worry about the operational. The data error seems like it would be a good one. And the internal error, like I said, I'm not going to touch. Not supported? Sure. All right, so we'll try the not supported error. All right, so let me move that up. All right, again, I don't know what I'm doing here with my copying, but all right, let's look at this. These are going to be my exceptions. Come on, Jeffrey. There we go. So let's put the word except at the beginning. And we'll put in the end as E for each one of these. Okay. So let's add this for each one of these. And now at the end, we're going to add the as E. All right, and we'll put a print in here. And it's just going to say, we'll make it an F string. In fact, let's just copy these in now as they are. How about that? All right, so copy in that. Let's bring in our CRUD functions here. We've got our tribe, again, no accepts. So we want to put those accepts right here. Oh, not there. Like that. Now, it's giving me errors because I am not doing anything with any of these. All right. And I guess it is screwed up from this one. Okay. So it's giving me here, it says it's not defined. So we must not be importing that. So let's import it. So import, great job, SQLite3, and let's add another double quote there. There we go. Import. There we go. All right. So let me tab all these over like they should. Whoops. Okay, let's just do this. All right, now I'm getting errors. Let's fix those errors right now. So I'm just going to say here, print with an F string, database error E, like that. All right. Let's move this down. This will say integrity error. Notice it's, as soon as I put that in, it's fixing. So this will be programming error. This will be data error. And this will be not supported error. All right. Whoops, that wasn't good. Let's see. So this is not supported error. And this will be, that's spelled wrong. That's nice. This will be generic database error, we'll say. All right. So now what we've done is in this is where we're attempting to actually do the update. Okay? So we've added a bunch of exception handling in there. I'm feeling better about it now. Okay? So File, Save All. And where am I for time? All right, I'm at 38 minutes. I'm going to try to do something here. Believe it or not, I'm doing this off the top of my head. Okay? All right, I'm going to try something here. We're going to see if it works. And if it doesn't, okay, not a problem. All right, I'm going to come down to the bottom here. And I'm going to call this Read Records. I'll need the cursor. I'll need the table name. And I don't think I'm going to need anything else. But we'll find out in just a moment. All right. Now, get rid of that. And let's come in here and let's just grab one of these. We'll grab categories here. It's fine. That's the insert. This is the read. Okay, I'm going to grab all of this. And for now, I'm going to copy it in. Don't worry about it. We're going to end up changing a bunch of it anyway, so that's fine. All right, so here are the, well, I don't want to say categories. I'm going to say here are the records in the table name table. So it'll say like these are the records in the categories table, these are the etc. All right. So I want to say here select star from. Okay. And I want to be able to say here table name. And it's not going to like it because if I put that in, I think I can do this. Just put in an F string there. And here's say table name. I think that'll work okay. And then rows equal print all the rows. Okay, that's good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in here, I'm going to say I'm going to grab these same exceptions and I'm going to put them down here like that. Now it's screwed up because the it's not lined up with the try, so these have to all be moved over. There, now everything is cool. All right, if this worked, where I've got read records, now I'm hoping all I'll have to do is pass in the table name. What am I saying? Let's go to categories here. And we can change this now where we've got the read categories. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to comment it out. And what doesn't it like here? Expected indent block. Oh, I think it expects this to be indented here and here. Okay, so I'm going to change this read categories, and now I'm going to call read records. And don't worry, we'll fix that in a moment. We're going to call read records, and we're going to pass in the cursor and the name of the table. All right. So right now at the top, we've got this. We also now have to update in read records. Now I'm hoping that yep, looks like it fixed it. All right, let's see if this worked. Again, I don't know if it did or not. Notice now our update category is very small. If this works, this is also going to be very small. And I'm going to then end up copying it over to each of the other ones. So let's do a file, save all. Let's go back to main here and let's run the program. Go to categories, which is the only one we've changed. And now I'm going to do a 2 to see if we can read all the records. And there they are. So it appears right now as though that'll work. Okay, let's take for granted, whether that's right or not, that it's going to work. So I'm going to grab these. Okay, in fact, before I do this, let's get rid of this now. It's code bloat. It's code we're not using, so let's just get rid of it. All right. All right, so file, save all, and we can close categories. And we can close categories here. And let's open up customers. All right. And again, this read customers, we're going to get rid of all of this. And we're going to replace it with this. don't worry, we'll fix that in a minute. This has to say customers. And again, up at the top, this has to now say read records. Which should have fixed this. Okay, so file, save all. In fact, let's grab this. Let's do this. Do it like this. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to throw it in here like I did before. And then we'll throw this in here as well. And that'll help when we're doing all the other ones. So let's start with this, and we're going to go over the employees table. So we've got this. So file, again, save. We can now get rid of customer and bring up employees, CRUD. Again, get rid of our read, our entire thing here. Okay. Plus, at the beginning, we need to add this, the read records. And now we can add this. But it will be employees. All right. So that one is done. So we've done our first three: categories, customers, and employees. Let's go down to order details. And again, this will be read records. Then down here, we will again remove our entire update routine, which, not our update, our read. And we will replace it with this, but change the name to order details. So this better be read order details. And I don't think I changed the other one, so I'm going to go back and double check. All right, it's the problem when you do a lot of copy and pasting, which I don't recommend. So this is read categories, good. Well, it was the categories one to begin with, so. This is read customers. And the next one should be read employees. Okay. Now we've got read order details, so that should be good. All right, again, we've got categories, employees, categories, customers, employees, order details. Let's do orders. Okay. This will be orders. And up at the top, this will be read records. Okay, so we've replaced that one. All right, so orders is done. Now we've got 3 left: products, product vendors, and vendors. I'm just going to grab this line, copy it. I'm going to open up product vendors and vendors. All right, so let's put these in there then. So let's go back to your products. Product vendors. Well, that's vendors. And that's product vendors. All right. So now I should be able to read any of these. So let's try those. Let's go back to main, run the program, and make sure that they all work. So 1, 2, there's my categories. 5 to go back. 2, 2, there's my customers. 5 to go back. 3, 2, there's my employees. 4, 2, there's my order details. 5, 2, there's my orders. 6, 2, there are my products. 7, 2, there are my product vendors. And 8, 2, there's my vendors. So I have now replaced all of those. I'm going to try to do one more thing because I'm still at 53 minutes. All right, so I'm going to run over just a little bit. All right, and that is I'm going to attempt to do a generic delete as well. All right, so let's close this. All right, and we're just going to go back up to the top and kind of do it the same way. All right, now I'm going to do it a little bit differently, and this may be stupid, but this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm just going to come into each one of these. So I'm going to make a delete record. I'm going to add this to each one. It's going to be gray because I haven't written the routine yet. All right, so now I have put in a reference to a delete record, but I haven't written that yet. All right, so let's go back in to our generic CRUD, or our CRUD functions.py. So now I've got in here, I've got a generic update. I've got a generic read. All right. Now I guess probably I should put this one first. Let's just put them in the same alphabetic order they're in. So we'll do that. Control X. Let's bring this up to the top. So we now have first our read, then our update. So let's put our delete in here now. So this will be def delete record. All right, and we'll again need a cursor. We'll need a table name. And we'll need a primary key, which could possibly be multiple primary keys. So we'll call this primary keys. All right, let's go look at one of our deletes, which is right here. So I'm going to try to bring in this one. All right. Now, let's go back to our CRUD functions. I wanted to see something at the end here. So we've got all that stuff. Rows. We're not saying that it worked anymore exactly here. So let's see. Yeah, table name record updated. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, good. So this will say again in here, we need table name. Yep. This will now say table name record deleted. Okay, that's good. All right. So we've got, let's just say we need the primary keys. There's the problem. I'm going to have to think about this one. All right, the other one I wrote off the top of my head, and I want to do this one too. This is going to end up being an F string, and it's going to say delete from table name. We'll just call this the ID, where this is where I'm going to have to do some thinking. Okay. All right. What I want to do is I want to write this one, and then I want to create one for create as well. All right. And this file is getting bloated. I could put each one of these in their own file. That might be a cleaner way to do this. All right. And also with this exception handling, I might be able to write a generic function and call that. I don't know. All right. But I'm going to stop now. I must be right around an hour. Okay, I'm very close. And I'm going to go back in myself. I'm going to attempt to go back and rewrite this delete and then write a create as well. And I'll put that one up on top. Now, you could argue and say that I should, in all of these, and notice how clean this is looking now. All right. And ideally, this one's going to look like that too, and we're going to get rid of all that. Okay. And then we'll do the create. And then what will happen is each one of these routines is probably only going to be approximately 20 lines or so long, which is really cleaning it up. Okay, I'll be back with that momentarily.